Now we're going to talk about giving feedback. This is often a difficult thing for us to do as managers. When we facilitate this with your groups, we often ask the question, why do we not like feedback? And the response to that question is predominantly negative. It can feel awkward, it can feel like a personal insult, etc., etc. So have a think about how you feel when you are asking for or you are being given feedback. And that instinctive negative reaction is with all of us. So the model that we suggest when giving feedback is called I said feedback. What this does is give some context and some route planning for that conversation. The first part of that model is I of I said. This is intent. The way that I like to visualize this is like a traffic light. Is it feedback to give somebody because you don't like them or you've seen what they've done and you weren't very happy with them? That's a red light. That isn't an opportunity to give feedback. But if it's an opportunity to improve them as an individual or positively support the business, then it's a green light to go ahead with your feedback. The next stage of feedback in I said is a self-assess. This is where you ask the individual for their perspective of what's gone on. So I heard you were unhappy on that call. Tell me a little bit about it. Or you didn't see yourself today. Is everything okay? Ask them for feedback. In my experience, when you ask somebody that question, most of the time they give you the feedback that you want to give them yourselves. So they're aware of it. The next stage is to move to action. This is when you give a non-judgmental account of what's happened. So remove any emotion and just give the facts. You are an experienced leader and you are just explaining what they could potentially have done better after they've given themselves the assessment of what's happened. Always remembering the intent is pure here. And the second I is impact. This is an opportunity for you to let them know how that behaviour made you feel. And this isn't always negative, of course. If they did a great job when you're on holiday, then absolutely let them know that made you feel really proud of them. And that could also be used on a more negative perspective too, if you need to. The final stage is the D, which is where you move to action. That's where you have a conversation with that individual about what's happened and help them understand what they can do in the future to avoid this. The I said feedback model is a really essential way of helping you frame a conversation. And just as a separate note, we also do another session on motivation and engagement. And one of the top 10 motivators in the world from a Gallup poll is tactful disciplining, which fundamentally is negative feedback. So use this model to frame a conversation with your team and it can really help the culture of your business change positively. And that's I said feedback model.